Hello, and welcome to this bonus episode of the Workwise for Screen podcast. It's part of a growing collection of practical resources and guidance designed for professionals in the screen industries, supported by the BFI awarding National Lottery funding.
Through these podcasts, live events, and our online community, we help our screen sector better look after all the people their businesses depend on and stay on safe, legal ground. Our guests share practical ways to improve working conditions and well-being across the industry.
I'm Tasita Small, founder of the Small HR Company, supporting HR in the entertainment industry.
And I'm Keith Arrowsmith, a creative industries solicitor and programme director for Workwise for Screen. In this episode, we hear from Steve Wynne, CEO of Strawberry Blond TV. It's famous for producing shows such as The Great British Dig and the BBC's Live Lounge. Steve talks about some of the ingredients for creating a great company culture, and we'll start with a question from Dr. Amit Patel. He moderated the session for us, and he asked Steve about Strawberry Blond's achievement of being named Broadcast Magazine's Best Place of Work in TV twice. Let's hear from Steve and Amit.
So, let's start with the Best Place of Work award. As the CEO, how did you feel to win the best top prize, not once, but twice, given it relies on the feedback from your own team?
It was an award that, I mean, we've been fortunate to win industry awards, broadcast awards, and an Emmy and a BAFTA. I won't go on about them. I will go on. But getting an award from my team and getting the feedback from them that we were doing something right sort of meant everything. That was the bit we're doing something right. I've always felt very much an outsider in TV. I came from a working class background. You can't tell anymore. I'm from the Wirral near Liverpool. When I get drunk or shout at the kids, that sort of does come back, Scouse accent. But I didn't know anyone in the media, and I've spent the last 30 years doing what I'm doing at different companies. And then when I started Strawberry 10 years ago, I still felt like I was making it up as I went along. So it's quite nice to then be recognised for actually what you are doing is right, is a good thing, is recognised, is appreciated, is celebrated, because I still feel like I'm making it up as I go along, but I'm doing it in a way that I hope, obviously, our teams like the way that we work. I run it as a democracy. I ask them to sort of, come up with what we should do. Yeah. I don't micromanage. They're employed for a reason.
Yes.
They are the team. They are the reason why we're successful. It's not me, it's them.
I was going to ask you, did you set out to do this, or did this happen naturally? But you kind of answered that for me.
I don't know either way.
Yeah.
No one's ever taught me how to do this.
Yeah.
I think TV should be creative. It's not always. I think it always should be fun. I think it should be done with a sense of humour.
Okay.
Nothing we do is terribly serious. I don't make any sort of super serious docos or anything like that. So, we do a lot of, or have done traditionally, a lot of kids shows, and so they're always fun.
Okay.
I set out to sort of enjoy this. I have a job that it's the job I want to do since I was 7 years old, and I feel very fortunate, very blessed, and very lucky to have a job that I adore.
So, what do you think you're doing differently to your competitors?
I challenge a lot of things. Okay. Like if we're told, this is the way that you do things, this is the way that things happen, this is the way it's always been done. I don't do it to be a div about it. I do it to sort of go, well, hold on, is there a better way of doing that?
Yeah.
Can we come up with a better way of working? Can we, I don't subscribe, for instance, to 12-hour shoots. I don't subscribe to people being the edit till 2 o'clock in the morning, because I don't. If that's still happening, I think you're doing it wrong. I think the budgets have gone wrong, or that chaos that is creative in TV, or it's just the way it is in TV production. It's 14, 15-hour days, and it's just follow. It's like, well, or it isn't, because I quite like to go to the pub because it's 5 o'clock. Can we do that? And that's what we do, and sort of have make sure the team's looked after. The runners are the ones often, for instance, that come first in the morning and leave last at night. And they're usually sort of the younger people of the team. I've tried to turn that on its head and make sure they're the ones that are looked after and they see that, if I'm leading out from the top, then they see that as well as best practice, rather than, it's bad enough trying to get into this industry as it is. And then when you realise, if you're working 12, 13 hours a day for minimum wage, that is no fun whatsoever. So I just don't know any other way of doing it. It's just the way that I work is going, right, you've got to look after the people, you should be having fun doing it, and you should be enjoying it. If those three things aren't happening, then I don't see that as a success.
Right. And all businesses experience challenges, or things don't always go to plan. How do you react without damaging the atmosphere within the business?
It's famine and feast. Sometimes in production, it's zeros and ones. We don't always win business, and when we don't, it's disappointing, and it can be, you can feel quite rejected. But I always think about commissions, that if the commissions that were going on were so brilliant, like every single one of them, the stuff that makes it onto TV, you go, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. I can't compete with that. I'd shut the shop now.
Yeah.
But what happens is you sort of pitch, they don't like the idea for whatever reason, don't like my face, or it's Wednesday, or they like the colour yellow more than the colour blue, or whatever commissions goes around in their heads. And then what they do commission, you go, oh, you commissioned that over that? Oh, we're going to be all right. And so I always see a positive to it, because I don't think, I treat it a little, I've gamified, I think, my job in terms of, because I think it is a bit of a game that we have to play. There are sort of certain rules that you have to abide by. I try and push in those a bit, but the challenge is there's always an answer. There's always a solution to everything. I always think that you can always work around something. If nothing's insurmountable in TV, it's a creative industry, and you should be able to come up with creative ways of fixing those problems. But I haven't yet. Such word come up with something we haven't been able to sort of get around.
Okay. Do you think the fact that you're not from the industry makes you think slightly differently outside of the box? You haven't always thought about doing it in one way. You bring your own personality into it? Maybe,
but then no one's from the industry.
No.
When it starts, everyone starts off somewhere, and they're not necessarily from the industry. I think I'm very fortunate, because I am Strawberry Blond in terms of I don't have shareholders, I don't have other directors, I don't have anyone to answer to.
Yes.
So I can do things the way that I think, or we think as a team, we can do them. So I don't have that financial pressure, or I do have financial pressures. But I don't have those targets to hit per se.
Okay.
And I've made the mistake before about chasing the money, and that has not worked at all. And I think if we're enjoying it, and like I said, having fun with it, then that should breed to the rest of it. I worked at Disney, I worked at Warner Brothers, I worked at ITV. They're big old sort of companies that it's not I didn't fit in, but I often questioned. It was one of my school reports going, Stephen has potential here, but he keeps on ruining it by talking to the other children and being distracted. And that's what happened at my appraisal of Disney and Warner's as well. Because I'd question things. It's like, this is at Disney as well, it's a multi-billion-dollar multinational firm going, we could do that a bit better. It's like, that's a Disney film, Steve. I'm not sure you can sort of have much of a say, but there's always something better to be done. But
absolutely.
I think in those bigger companies, you become numbers, and the people become numbers, and they forget about the personability of the team.
Okay, fantastic. How can Workwise for Screen help you and your team continue to improve their working practices?
I think having those tools there and having a one-stop shop is really important to a sort of mid-sized company like ours, because we don't have in-house legal, we don't have in-house HR. So be able to have somewhere that that's solid and guaranteed. I think it's also good to have the conversation about, when we talk about best practice, it often feels quite dry. And contracting is dry, and HR can be dry. I'm hoping that what Workwise can do is talk to people and understand what it is that the teams need, not just people that sort of managerial. Be personal about it. So I don't want to see dry old documents. Not that all the documents are dry, but sort of what is the state of the industry? What are people asking for? What do I not know about that my teams need? Because coming up through the ranks, I realised that you often don't get told sort of what's going on when you sort of get to a senior level. You're sort of assumed to know because you're a manager, and you're not always told about that. And actually having a snapshot of that, or going, we're not doing this very well, didn't know about that. It's like, you probably should have done. Yes, I probably should have, but I didn't. And I'd like to have those tools as well, going, this has shifted. We've got the whole sort of, we're in the office twice a week now, and I'm not going to change that. I'm never going back in 5 days a week. Just kill me now. But does that hybrid model still work for my team? So, because they probably sometimes might not tell me. They will just,
Of course.
I'm very approachable and very nice about it, but they might not sort of want to tell me. So it would be great to have that sort of knowledge from Workwise in terms of, what is shifting and what is moving, what has changed.
Brilliant. And finally, what advice would you give the audience today for a winning environment like yours? And you've kind of hit a lot.
Do it your own way. No one knows what they're talking about. I don't think. There's not many people in TV you go, oh, yeah, you sussed this. Mm-hmm. Wow, you're brilliant. And everything you do, I couldn't possibly do that in another way.
Yeah.
Make your own way. There's no rule. There are rules, but there aren't any rules. So do it the way that you want to do it, and do it in the way that you think is right, and make sure that you look after the people around you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Steve.
No
Thank you.
It was good to hear that Steve kind of questioned those traditional TV production practices that we're all familiar with, especially the kind of assumption around working long hours, and then kind of thinking about the kind of approach that we should have, especially when we're dealing with less experienced staff, and making sure that because they're less experienced, we put the emphasis on making sure that they're looked after. There's something about making sure that we can handle those challenging situations by preparing for them. So we know our pitches are going to get rejected. No one has a 100% success rate. So let's think about ways of making sure that we take that into account, and we have ways of staying positive by making sure that we kind of look at that work and kind of reviewing it critically. So thinking about the workplace as being somewhere that's creative. And why wouldn't it be? We're in the creative sector, but sometimes we forget that working creatively, finding some fun in the day and making sure that we can do it with a bit of a smile means that we're at our best and our work is going to be at our best. And if we can help each other make sure that we are being looked after and having fun and enjoying our work, then that's where we can then measure our success in much more interesting ways. It's not just about making a profit, it's making sure that we're making a profit in a way that fulfills us and makes us happy. And I think that's why he gets awards. Why wouldn't you want to give a production company that has that kind of ethos a recognition for what they do? The Workwise for Screen platform online has lots and lots of tools to help us put Steve's ideas into practice. We've got bonus podcast episodes like Building a Workplace Where People Thrive. We've got signposts to help people with mentally healthy productions and shortening the working days when we're dealing with the film sector. We've also got our own material, including making sure that you know how to reassess people's loads every time we add a task to someone's job. Thanks for listening to the Workwise for Screen podcast, supported by the BFI awarding National Lottery funding.
Our online platform provides lots of easy to understand information and invites to our events. Visit our website at workwiseforscreen.org.uk and register for the latest updates.
Please follow us on social media and join in this crucial conversation.
And contact us with suggestions for future episodes, or if you can, support the programme in any other way. This podcast is produced by 1860. Music is by Benjamin Squires.